Hi, my name is Romana. I am a business analyst and product manager at AltexSoft, and today we'll talk about the customer research that you can run during product discovery. Before we start, I suggest you watch other videos in the series on product discovery hosted by my colleague Tatiana. If you have already, let's begin. What is customer research? The name speaks for itself. To find product market fit, you must understand your customers. Sometimes we think that we know everything about our customers, but we aren't them. We don't know their problems. We just think that we know them. So, how does the research help? Why do we need it? You can answer this question by looking at the problem from 2 points of view: the market, or the people you are targeting, and your own business performance. So, when we are talking about the customers, we normally have a number of assumptions about the market. The research helps validate or disprove these assumptions and provides an unbiased view. We can better understand the pain points and needs and identify the preferences, behaviors, and motivations of our customers. And if you are viewing it from the business perspective, we need customer research to keep the business relevant. As customer tastes, technology, and trends change rapidly, we must adapt these changes to evolve and keep functioning in the market. We must stay useful to our customers, focusing on things that matter to them. This also minimizes risks. So, getting in front of customers and learning what people actually want can prevent the business from making costly mistakes and losing a lot of money. Last but not least, customer research helps create proper messaging. As a result, we'll be able to sell the product in a meaningful way, a way that is closer to a customer. We'll know our audience and their language, and if we speak their language, it's easier for them to understand our product. That said, how do we approach customer research? Your first step is to understand the problem you are trying to solve. Say you're launching in a new market. Do you want to adapt your existing product to a new customer segment, or are you trying to build a completely new application? Make your objective clear. Your next step is to understand what you want to get from your research initiative. This will bring clarity and structure to your work before you start. Consider the deliverables that you require. For instance, do you want to gather pain points? Are you trying to detect UX bottlenecks? Or maybe you want to create several customer personas. Once you know the deliverables, empower your product team to come up with the questions they want to answer with this research. This is very useful as different team members will have different inputs, and during this stage you can also assemble your research team. After this, you can select the proper methodology. We'll talk about the methods in a bit. When the research is done, analyze everything and bring the results together in an understandable format. Think of the way you are going to present results to the team, other stakeholders, and your organization. Okay, you've done your homework and know the objectives, problems, and the team. The next big question is, do you have to run your own research? In other words, do you need primary or secondary research? Primary or field customer research, the name speaks for itself, is the data that we collect by ourselves. Secondary or desk customer research is the data collected by someone else. This data comes from the public, commercial sources or internal ones residing in our company. We can extract it and gather insights from it as well. I believe that primary customer research is more valuable because we collect this information and manage it. We can communicate with the customer and understand all the background, and on top of that, we can see the pitfalls of our own research process. Secondary research will provide us with extra data to complement the field research. So, the general answer to this question is to combine both approaches. Today, we talk about running primary research. Any customer research is about talking to people, listening to them, watching, collecting information, analyzing and synthesizing it. So let's talk about the methodologies that exist to run customer research and highlight when they can be useful to you. Surveys and questionnaires. These are great tools for collecting data, especially if you can't possibly talk directly to the customers or you don't have the time to do so. They allow you to gather both quantitative and qualitative data. Quantitative data is crucial because it includes cold, hard facts that you can easily convert into graphs and charts. They are convenient to analyze and can help prove or disprove your hypothesis. And you can get qualitative data to capture views and opinions by asking open-ended questions. It will give a deeper insight into the motivations and behavior behind the statistics. But the key restriction to keep in mind: you must have a large audience engaged enough to provide a sufficient number of responses. If you have that, definitely consider surveys. Observations and field studies. Customer observations involve watching or tracking customer behavior while they are using your product. If you don't have one yet, it's prototype or even a competitor's product. We'll discuss prototypes in the next videos. This will help you understand how your solution is actually being used and can highlight the areas where people become confused or get stuck. Observation is a perfect method for validating your assumptions while you sit back and silently observe customers interacting with the product. Do you have needed functionality or features that the user will value? Or if you haven't implemented them yet, you'll have information on whether they are worth working on. If we have a prototype, we can grab a few people, sit in the cafe, run it, and watch. But there is another, slightly more complex spin to observation. They are called field studies. The main difference between these two: a field study means that you observe your customer in their natural environment. If we are building an application for travel agents, we'll go to the agent's office and see how this person interacts with the product as well as with their environment and with their colleagues. So we'll be sitting in the office, watching what they are doing and asking a lot of questions. Diary studies. Users receive our product, prototype, or a competitor's product, and they are asked to log each and every action they take related to a specific goal. They also log how they felt during those interactions over many days, weeks, or even months. Sounds tedious, right? But don't despair. In our next video, we'll talk about engaging and incentivizing people. Diary studies is a great way to understand user thoughts, feelings, and actions over time. In fact, this is the main value of this method. You receive information collected over a long period. With diary studies, you can learn about routines that people develop, the way they learn to interact with your software, and the repetitive challenges they face. It's okay if customers struggle to do something the first time, but if they are repeatedly frustrated with your workflow, there is room for improvement, and the diary studies help catch that. Okay, so the next topic is online analytics. We can run them in a few ways, capturing information from different tracking tools. You can analyze heat maps and session recordings and track scroll depths, time on a page, bounce rates, user paths with the click streams, and many more. Analytics is a good example of the quantitative methods. And personally, this is one of my favorites. Instead of focusing on what the customer says they want or need, analytics focuses on what the customer actually does. So it's a great tool to measure real rather than reported behavior. People may say a lot of things, but heat map really showed where your product gets confusing. I've seen it quite a few times, people clicking on the static element thinking it's a button, believe me. And yet, online analytics must complement other methods to capture the big picture. Review mining, another one of my favorites. Review mining is a process of researching, you've guessed it, reviews of your own products or competitors. It's all about qualitative data that helps you improve your own solution and better address the needs of your ideal customers. Fortunately, there are a lot of people who are open and happy to share their personal views on specific topics. Public reviews are especially useful for customer research because of the large amount of unfiltered information. Unlike other methods, this one will allow you to come across unexpected problems or valuable ideas shared by the public. Even if your prospects aren't discussing a particular product, their comments and threads on social media, online communities and forums can be very insightful. Okay, the last method, and probably the most valuable, is the interviews, because here we interact with the customer directly. We get opinions and ideas, the core of qualitative data. And with the face-to-face discussion, we can follow a natural flow of conversation and just watch how our interviewees behave. We see all their emotions, and that is really crucial. Not only do they tell, they also show. Since interviews are the major customer research methodology, we'll dedicate the entire next video to techniques and approaches to running customer interviews. Great! Before we end, let's wind up with important tips for doing customer research. Always complement quantitative data with qualitative data, even if you can't say these two words fast. You can't just run interviews or track analytics and call it a day. You do need a big picture. Preparation is crucial. Don't just show up at the interview and begin talking off the top of your head. Articulate the problems you are solving, the questions you are asking, and the results you want to get. Do it in advance. Use focus groups. Yeah, you can grab your friends, your grandma, and random people from the street, but you must have a target group or several of them that you want to become your customers. And you may end up with the completely different results for different focus groups. Make respondents feel the importance of their input. People are more open and engaged when they do something meaningful, when they know how their current actions will change things in the future. Keep that in mind. Respect their time. People always have other important things to do, so 2 or 3 hour interviews or dozens of questions in your survey will alienate any respondent. Learn to prioritize. Make your questions clear and easy to answer. Spend some time on wordsmithing and editing. Try to avoid any ambiguity. Make all communication a bit informal and easygoing so that respondents can feel comfortable. Customer research is a permanent process. I know we are talking about the product discovery, but as your product evolves and hopefully gets better, you do need a stream of insights and feedback to stay relevant. Alright friends, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Next time we'll have a deep dive into customer interviews. Please like, subscribe and stay tuned.